Welcome to the Choosing Ease podcast, a sacred space for multi skilled coaches and experts. Get ready to elevate your energy and manifest the joy, impact, and success you're meant to create through your ridiculously impactful and successful business. I'm your host, Relinda Morse. The conversations I have on this podcast will guide you on a journey from effort to flow, all while honoring your truest, most badass self. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive in. It is here, the first episode of the Choosing Ease podcast. And I say this because this idea to start a podcast has been in my mind for about 8 years. And right now feels like the exact time. It was just so clear to me that right now it needs to happen. I have so many stories, so many behind the scenes, so much to share with you, and so many beautiful guests lined up. So I'm excited that you are here. If we haven't met before, my name is Relinda, and I empower multi-skilled coaches and experts just like you to leverage your embodied expertise into a wildly successful, simplified business so that you can create a life of ease and impact and prosperity. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about the how to's, like how do you do things business wise as a coach or as an expert? How do you think as an entrepreneur and really leverage your unique wisdom in a way that you can build a beautiful, thriving business around it? But another big driver, another big topic that I'm going to talk about in this podcast um, is what is the inner work of building a thriving business, a business that is teaching something that you have lived through, some experience, some different skills that nobody else brings together in the way that you do it. And if you stand for that, and it feels for me like we're living in this beautiful time where we have the privileged and unique opportunity to do that, to really build a business based on this is what I came here to teach, this is what I came here to share, this is who I am. And I can build a business that shares that unique thing with the world. And while doing that, I'm going to get to know myself better and better and better. Because here's the truth: if you build a business as a coach or an expert and you build an online business, you are going to have to look at yourself. You're going to have moments where you need to shift limiting beliefs, where you grow yourself, which then allows you to also manifest, for example, more students or more clients and more abundance. This can never be separate. And I'm so fascinated by that. I think I'm very interested in the whole business journey. I'm interested in, creating abundance and freedom and time and getting out of the I'm trading hours for money kind of rat race. But maybe most interested I am in what that does to you as a human, how that allows you to really live life um, in a way that is just so meant to be. For me, it always feels like my spirit wants something. And when I was still working in theater, so if we haven't met, you might not know this, but I have worked in theater and dance, and I've owned my own dance performance company for many years. And when I still did that, I loved it. I mean, I really did what my passion was. It was beautiful, and I'm so grateful for those experiences. But when I got to the end of it, what I felt was heaviness. I felt, you know what? I can never actually really be in the driver's seat of this. I was with my dance company dependent of subsidies. It's just such a small world. Other people completely decide the fate of your business. And I just felt like this is not what is meant to be for me. I want to experience more freedom and ownership and empowerment in the way that I live my life. So, we're going to talk about all these things and how you do that in complete integrity, how to run a business like that and still be fully of service, of course, for the people that you are helping, because that, if you're anything like me, might be your first driver. Like, I really want to help people with this. And I think that we talk about it a lot, but do we talk about it in depth? Like, what is the deep personal journeys that go behind that? Another concept that I that drove me to create the Choosing Ease podcast is that I think that we have been mistaken in thinking about growth. So everybody that talks about business, and every business coach and everybody is going to say how to grow your business, how to grow your revenue, how to grow your audience. And there is a way where we can create that narrative as if growth is a linear process. So before you're like struggling, and then you go through this process, and then you've grown, and that's it. You're on the other side, sipping cocktails on a beach, and your business makes money behind the scenes, and that's it. And if you look at it, it's actually never that way. It's never that way because growth isn't linear. And I think that it's really important to realize that, because if you don't think of growth, if you think of growth being linear, then you find yourself in moments where you say, I'm not growing fast enough. Or even, if my business hasn't grown by this much at this time, it should have, so I might quit. Or you might think, I have been struggling with this certain thing. It might even be something strategic, like lead generation or launching. You're like, I could do these successful launches and I can't do them anymore. They don't work anymore for some reason. And then you feel like this is wrong. I should have had this linear progress. And now I'm on the other side. And then if I'm back to a certain problem again, that is wrong. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my business, right? And that's why I think the linear thinking is really wrong because it's actually never linear. The growth that we go through as humans, and thus also businesses, is actually a spiral. Now, a little story from when I was still choreographing. I loved to use this method by a Belgian choreographer. Her name is Anna Teresa de Keersemaker. And she has developed a method where she uses the Fibonacci sequence and the golden section as a way to choreograph performances. It's really exciting. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of it, but basically, it is a mathematical formula, and you use that in time and in space, and how many dancers you use, and that creates the rules for creating a performance. I've used that method often. I've experimented with it a lot, and I absolutely love that. And the things that came out of that were always really beautiful and impactful and interesting. And why is that? Why does she do that? This is actually the point why I'm telling this story, is that she says if we look at growth and creation, so as an artist you create. Now, as an artist you create, but as an entrepreneur or a coach, an expert, you also create. Yeah, you're making things that weren't there. Then you have certain ideas, and then you bring them to life. So you are a creator. And she says, if we create, let's look at the natural laws of growth and of creation. And if you look in nature, everything that grows according to these, golden section, to this beautiful mathematical formula. And when you put that mathematical formula in space, you get a spiral. And also, if you look at, for example, the growth of a sunflower or a cauliflower, even so many natural things that grow, they have this spiral in them. So, what if we don't think of business growth and of personal growth as a linear process, as in I was somewhere, I do certain things, and then I'm on the other side, but we think of it as a spiral. What if we're thinking of a spiral, then it means that the same themes, the same topic, maybe even similar limiting beliefs as those are part of your life's journey will occur over and over again. So you're actually, you're going to have the way that your sales come in, your launches, and at one point that might change. You're like, hey, I'm meeting this struggle again on another level, and I have to find a new way again, or a personal growth, like a level of confidence, or a level of believing in yourself, or of believing in abundance. All these things are going to keep coming back. That is why I think if we think of it as a spiral and we stop thinking of it as a linear process, then we are much more forgiving towards ourselves, much more understanding. We can actually connect. We can talk about all the things business struggles or personal struggles at any level. You're not like, oh my gosh, I cannot talk about this because I have positioned myself in a certain way. No, you can still bring up these same things. They're just going to come for you in different levels. So if I look at that for myself, just to share a little bit, when I see that I was running my dance performance company, and at the time of recording this podcast, that is about 10 years ago that I quit that company. There was a lot of growth going into that, like coming to that place of having a company. I hired about like 11 people when we would be rehearsing and making performances. And then I had dancers and technicians, and we toured through the Netherlands and abroad. So a lot was going on. There was a lot of growth in making that happen. And I was, I felt like I was in a place in my life where everything was exactly like it should be. I was living with my partner in a like dream apartment in the center of Amsterdam. I had beautiful freelance work with other theater companies. I had my own dance theater company. Everything was just, falling in place until it wasn't. That relationship ended. My dance company had problems, financial problems, because we didn't get the subsidies that we wanted due to subsidy cuts in the Netherlands. There was just so much going on, and it felt like I'm struggling here. I'm trying to keep things together. So in this spiral, all of a sudden I was like back at square one. Everything that I thought was building and working, it was kind of crumbling and falling. It was just, the universe telling me you need to go on another path. And I went to Bali for as a holiday. And when I came to Bali, just the most amazing things happened. Within no time, I had like beautiful friends there, and most of them are still my friends. I was asked to teach contemporary dance and yoga in one of the most prestigious yoga studios in Bali, in Ubud. And I was just, just life just formed around me. So long story short, in the end, I had to go back and forth through the Netherlands a couple of times to finish things like dance performances and finish things with my company. But then I decided to stay in Bali. And there I decided to let go of my company. So there was actually a lot of letting go. And in the spiral, which might have felt, if I was thinking linear, would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm completely back at square one. Basically, I didn't even know exactly what I was going to do besides having that yoga teaching gig in Bali, job in Bali. And that was really interesting. And it forced me to really, really get to the core of who I am, what it is that I really want to create. And it really helped me to let go of any limiting beliefs. I did some deep work around it because honestly, first of all, I felt like a failure. I felt like, okay, I am back, having nothing. Now, when I look back at it, it was the most beautiful time. It was such an up level. If I would have thought of it of a spiral, it's like, wow, okay, I'm revisiting certain topics. Who am I? What am I really here to do? What do I want to create in this world? How do I want to express that through work, through service, through making money? Like, how am I going to do all those things? And I completely reinvented everything. And it was the most amazing opportunity and very deep work. And you will hear me talk about this topic more. And one of the things I really discovered there was that my limiting beliefs were in the way of me creating what I really wanted. I discovered that if I have beliefs in my subconscious mind that are not in tune, that are not congruent with the vision of the things that I want to create, that it's really hard for them to make it happen. I discovered that my procrastination and my self-sabotaging patterns were actually coming from deep limiting beliefs in my subconscious mind. And I also discovered that if I wouldn't go into my subconscious mind through going through a lower brainwave and really change what was going on there, and not only the limiting beliefs, but the trauma and the events of my past around that, that I wouldn't truly be congruent with my vision, and that it would be really hard to create that vision. That if I wouldn't embody the life that I really wanted, or the Relinda that I saw I could be before I was even living it, that it would be really hard to really bring it into existence, to manifest it. So that was a deep, deep journey, and just wanting to start my own business and taking on a journey with, visibility and making money and authenticity in a way like, this is the way I really want to live. This is how I want to do things. This is how I see my future and my life and how I want to create things. If I really wanted to step into that, I had to go back and take time to shift those limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, and to release all the blockages that were there in my energy and in my body, and to really release them. So I've been working through so many different modalities, beautiful embodiment practices, yoga, qigong, kung fu, tai chi, for me helped me to find pathways to really shift from the inside out my identity, I would say. But it's even more than an identity, it's more my way of being. And what it really feels like, and this is, of course, a spiral process. I'm not saying that this is finished, but what I have been doing ever since is just releasing more and more of all the things that I am not this. This is not who I am. This is a thought that I have from society. This is a belief that I have from thinking in this way. This is what comes from traumatic experiences in the past, like whatever it is, and just letting that go on a mental, a physical, and an emotional level, so that the real me can be restored. And that is also what I do with my clients, with my students all over the world. This is what I stand for, this is what I teach, and this is what I find just so fascinating. So in this podcast, you can expect me sharing stories behind the scenes, how to work through those things. You can expect me to invite guests that are really inspiring and powerful and beautiful human beings themselves, and to also have real conversations with them. So I'm not here to just have one scripted conversation after another. It's really about entering a conversation with you, like listener, and with the person that is my guest, and just being in this space and be like, what is real right now? What is it that we really want to talk about? And what is going on for you in the internal and the external world? So inside and outside. So I'm very excited. Again, I'm grateful that you are here. I would love for you to find me on Instagram if you have any things that you want me to talk about. Send me a DM on Instagram, and let's discuss. I will answer your questions. I will talk about the topics that you suggest. And I'm really wishing for this to be a place where we just have that intimate conversation. It was just, we made like a nice cup of hot tea and we're sitting together on the couch and we're just having this moment of sharing, woman to woman, coach to coach, expert to expert, and just really taking that moment of, let's really connect and let's talk about the real things that are going on in our businesses, in our lives, and in our body mind and in our hearts. Thank you for joining us today on the Choosing Ease podcast. Remember to subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to connect. And I'd be so grateful if you could share your thoughts in a review. Join me next time as I continue to explore the powerful skills and strategies that will help you to let go of everything that keeps you from fully sharing your genius. You are destined for greatness, and through the Choosing Ease podcast, I'm here to help you own your unique wisdom and share it with the world. Until next time, keep choosing ease.